All right, Coach, you ready to choose a random play here?
Yeah.
You tell me when to stop.
Stop.
All right, so we got Acadia. Let's go to the game. All right, let's scroll down a little bit, get about mid-game. Okay, Coach, you tell me.
Stop.
Okay. Oh, we're just off the rush. Let's go to the rush here. We're halfway between. Okay, they're on offense. All right, we'll set up the so we have a 2nd and 2 here, guys. The offense is out in a 3-by-2 formation. The back is offset into the boundary side. So fairly balanced stuff on a 2nd and 2. Any initial thoughts? This spot of the field, 2nd and 2, first quarter. Anything come to mind yet, coaches?
Well, for me, and I look at field position at 2nd and 2, depending on a lot of scenarios, wind, game situation. It's close enough to be almost you can get real aggressive here if you feel like you don't mind going for it. You're not quite in field goal range unless you have an exceptional kicker. So you might, who knows, you still have everything, your entire playbook open pretty much here as an offensive play caller now.
Okay, let's let this 2nd and 2 run a little bit. Okay, a little bit of miscommunication in the backfield. And it looks like they just barely get the first down, but we can watch what kind of play you think is trying to be developed here, coaches, maybe Coach Van Heuvel?
Yeah, it's an outside play here, a little outside zone blocking from the offensive line. Based on what I know, I'm guessing this was supposed to be a toss here to the running back into the play side. And they're looking to take this wide and attack the perimeter here.
Might as well get right to the tight here for you guys. And again, just kind of focusing on the O-line play with the miscommunication in the backfield. Any initial thoughts here as we go?
Well, they like to play. I mean, it's 2nd and 3, I think you said?
Yeah, it's 2nd and 2, yep.
So they're playing with some fairly wide splits for that situation. So, I mean, you don't really know whether they're going to go in or out. So
I think one thing that's like, there's so many different ways to run the outside zone, like in particular. I mean, that's true with every play, but the outside zone is one that there's just so many different variations and with technique and landmarks and whatnot. But these guys are trying to really get the perimeter here. They end up cutting the front side defensive end with the right tackle, just trying to take him out of the equation so they can really take this thing outside.
Yeah, a lot of teams, they like to either get that defensive end going to the sideline, because this is a short side outside zone play. So I mean, they're not trying to get to the sideline. They're trying to get just past the hash to the number and cut up field. It's a little bit different than running to the wide side of the field. And is it a wide zone or like kind of like a jet zone? Like some teams don't distinguish between the two. It's the same backfield action, but are they trying to get super wide, or are they trying to get into that B gap between the guard and the tackle? So for this one, it looks like because they're cutting that end, it looks like to me that they're looking to maybe get up on that guard.
And as Dave said, I mean, having played Acadia several times, this was one of their stronger plays, a little quick toss outside zone to the boundary, and with the cut of the front side defensive end. So it looks like exactly what they're trying to do, but there's just a little mishap in the backfield.
Mm-hmm. And if that's their thing, is in tossing out of that offset, then definitely the tackle cutting that end is going to get the edge for them.
No, absolutely. And that's, I think you guys are bang on. That's the design there. And just, again, a little bit of miscommunication. I think they're still successful in getting the first down, just taking what they can get and getting vertical, but definitely not the design point of attack there.
And one of the things I want to point out to you, and I'm again picking on somebody else's players, but just a coaching point, the right guard there, he's running with his hands, and it's almost like he's doing the jet plane. It's one of those things that the guys think that they have to have one hand out and the other hand, but their hands when they're out like that are not very useful. So look, if you see what I'm talking about, 62 there, like if he gets into contact, he has no he's going to have to bring his hands from the airplane wings, center mass, then to strike. One of the things I'm always trying to teach my guys is keep your hands in that athletic position, you know, still running, but your hands are in a position where they can be used. That would be 1 point for him. They all take good steps. I think their first step is open to 45. Backside tackle does a nice cut on the backside DT, the 3 tech there.
Just want to comment as coaches, as offensive line coaches here, you got to give a little credit to the quarterback, even though there's a misstep. I'm sure since they've been playing football since they were young kids, you tell them if you don't get the handoff, follow the hole, right? You know, get to the spot.
He got right up on that left guard's butt and created something out of nothing.
Yeah, very smart, you know, very poised, didn't panic.
Good
Some
awareness
younger
of the
kids-
situation, yeah. That's great, guys. Any final thoughts on that single clip there?
Yeah, the center's doing a really nice job on that 1 tech. You know, he really works the edge on him, gets onto his outside shoulder.
Yeah,
And
does a good job getting his head across here too.
Yeah, and he really gives a nice rip technique into that. I mean, I know the big guy ends up making the play, but he initially did a nice job on that. I think he was expecting his guard to come with him, and the guard kind of bounced off. I also think he thought the play was going outside. So.
Yeah, it must be tough as an old lineman. You're blocking for a certain point of attack, and all of a sudden the ball shows up in a different area, right?
Yeah. If the ball was, in fact, going outside like we all think it was, I think that center did a nice job.
Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely a challenge, you know, and the running back, you know, they can only make their read and stuff, but you can get into trouble sometimes when the ball ends up going somewhere where you're not expecting, and that's when, you know, holding penalties can come in, or guys can fall off blocks and make plays and different things like that. So
good. That's great, coaches. Really appreciate you guys being here to break down a little film with us, and always great talking some football and some O-line play. Really appreciate it.